Now, our County Clerk-Recorder Registrar of Voters, Ms. Ascencion.
Good afternoon, Supervisors, Mr. Berg, Dr. Johnson, Ms. North, staff, and the Ventura County community. My name is Michelle Ascencion, newly elected County Clerk-Recorder Registrar of Voters. It's my pleasure to provide our agency's budget presentation today. Am I using this, or do you advance for me? Hey, it worked. All right. Okay. So just a quick outline of what I'll cover in this brief presentation. I want to introduce you to our team, the men and women who are the lifeblood of this agency, describe some of our primary functions, quickly go over the numbers proposed for our 23-24 fiscal year budget, discuss a couple of our current challenges, but then share some exciting future opportunities and objectives for our agency. I have some of my phenomenal management team here with me today. David Valenzuela, our Clerk Recorder Division Manager. Ernie Moore, our Fiscal and Human Resources Manager. Miranda Nobriga, our Assistant Registrar of Voters. Martin is here. Martin Cobros, our Elections Operations Manager. Simone Seydoux is not here at the moment, but she is our Public Information Officer. And we are currently recruiting for the position of the Assistant Clerk Recorder position. These outstanding people lead our exceptional staff of just under 65 regular employees, most of whom are in the Clerk, Recorder, and Fiscal Administration divisions, which we call the upstairs office of the main plaza. But then downstairs, the small team of 20 in elections grows exponentially during the election season as we actually hire hundreds of extra help workers to assist with the major undertaking of conducting a countywide election. I'm proud to say that quality customer service is a trademark of our staff, and we routinely rank in the upper 90s of our customer satisfaction surveys. Our lean, mighty team does a lot to serve the community, but I'll mention just some of the most common of our primary functions. On the clerk and recorder side, we maintain every birth, death, and marriage certificate in the county. We perform document recordings of property documents for every parcel in the county, as well as other document types. We issue marriage licenses and perform wedding ceremonies. And we actually had a nice little write-up in the VC Star this past Valentine's Day, featuring our newly christened Mark A. Lunn wedding room. We receive the oaths of office and serve as the filing officer for statements of economic interests, which are commonly known as the Form 700 for the 87-200 filers. We receive fictitious business name statements, notary public filings, and other professional filings and registrations. Legislative revenue collection, this is pretty important. When the state mandates a fee to be collected during certain document recordings, the recorder's office collects these monies, and they're dispersed to the recipient agencies, adding up to millions of dollars in annual revenues for the county and the cities. Examples of these funds include SB2 funds, the Real Estate Fraud Prosecution Trust Fund, and the Documentary Transfer Tax. And finally, the annual updates of the roster of public agencies. And on the elections side, obviously, election administration and voter outreach, voter registrations, and I just want to throw in a quick aside on that. We are currently in the midst of High School Voter Education Week, which is a twice-a-year statewide initiative to engage young people in voting and elections. Every day last week and this week, our outreach team has been visiting our local high school campuses to provide information and to pre-register 16 and 17-year-olds, so they'll be automatically registered to vote when they turn 18. We've registered a few dozen youth so far and provided lots of other helpful information for the students to take home and share with their families. We took a different approach this year for High School Voter Education Week, so we're pretty excited that it's being received so positively. Next, we have candidate filing, and we're also the filing officers for the campaign statements. precincting and mapping all of the boundaries of the various county, city, school, and special districts. And finally, verifying signatures on any local or statewide petition. So you'll see here the appropriations and revenue proposed for the upcoming fiscal year. The bottom line really is our net county cost for the two divisions. For clerk recorder, it's just under $92,000 and about $8 million for elections. I want to give a quick note on that for that cost for elections. The appropriations and the net county cost for elections does look higher this year, but that's because in past years, appropriations had been set at a lower level, and then we've had to come to the board at mid-year to request set-aside funds from the Program Mitigation Fund to fund any remaining elections in the second half of the year. But thanks to our recent transition to the Voters' Choice Act model, election costs are now more stable and predictable, and therefore we're able to receive the funding on the front end rather than in two separate appropriations. This current fiscal year and carrying over into the upcoming year, our agency faces some notable challenges. First, real estate market and recording uncertainties. The low interest rates that were intended to stimulate the economy during the pandemic gave us record levels of recording revenue during the 2020 and 2021 fiscal years. As interest rates began to creep up in 2022, document recordings of refinances and home purchases in turn began to slow down. We've felt the hardest impact this year, with recordings down approximately 46%, the lowest levels in almost 2 decades. And we're not alone. A recent informal survey among county recorders found recordings are slumped all across the state, including among our neighboring counties, 25% in Kern County, 37% in LA County, 43% in Santa Barbara County. And unfortunately, this trend is expected to continue or even worsen in our county and the entire state due to the anticipated increase in interest rates, limited affordable housing inventory, and high prices for new and existing homes. Then there's the upcoming presidential primary election cycle. It's no understatement to say that elections have become more challenging in recent years. The primary in particular is complicated due to the increasing number of no party preference registered voters. We intend to get in front of this as much as possible with increased education, communication, and outreach efforts. And in fact, I'm hoping to come back to the board to share some information about the upcoming primary and to help explain how it all works sometime this fall. Besides the mechanics of the primary, we also have to recruit a small army of election workers, as I mentioned earlier, the 650 extra help staff. A huge help in this effort is the County Volunteer Election Worker Program, which was revised and revitalized in the 2022 election cycle and gave our county family from other agencies the opportunity to serve our community through elections. We had a great response from those who participated last time, and we truly appreciate their participation, as well as the support from the agency directors and the CEO's office. We hope that they will all come back again in 2024, and maybe even bring a coworker friend to join in the fun. We just wanted to take a quick moment to give that program a plug. Finally, to briefly discuss some of our other exciting future endeavors on the horizon for our agency. On the clerk and recorder side, technology updates. You may recall in the November 2021, we went live with our new Eagle Tyler management system, which was the first overhaul of our records management system in 15 years. We will be implementing some significant upgrades this year to conform with recent state legislation, as well as to allow for automated intelligent indexing, which will further increase efficiency. E-recording, electronic document recording. saw a huge jump during the pandemic and currently accounts for 70% of all recordings. We're going to continue to promote e-recording and look to push that to 75%. Another overhaul, as well as ongoing effort, is the continued preservation of our historical records, particularly as our county turns 150 years old this year. The climate-controlled vault, where we keep the oldest official records of Ventura County, will receive upgraded equipment and maintenance, and we will continue our digitizing project that provides recovery backup in the event of future disasters. The Restrictive Covenant Modification Program, known as AB 1466, took effect in California last year and required counties to comb through all of their property documents to redact any unlawful restrictions, including those based on age, race, color, religion, sex, gender, gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, familial status, marital status, disability, veteran or military status, national origin, source of income, ancestry, or genetic information. Our office has published an implementation program on our website, and we will be selecting and working with a vendor to undertake the modification of these documents. Finally, last but not least, we're looking towards obtaining a mobile service unit for our agency. A few clerk recorder offices throughout the state have these mobile units, which look like a modified RV, a trailer, or other portable unit. And it serves as a pop-up office to bring a variety of services to our community, from a mobile voting center and backup location during emergencies, to providing certified documents to wildfire or other disaster victims, and also conducting outreach at community events throughout the year. So with that, I thank you for your time today, and my staff and I are happy to try to answer any questions you may have.
Great, thank you, Ms. Ascencion. Any questions? Supervisor Long?
Your department does so much. I look forward to hearing about the election process and how our voting has changed. We get questions all the time about, signature verification, why do we have these machines, duplications, all that kind of stuff. And it'd be great to get the public education on that. And I love that you're working with our youth at the schools and just civic engagement, and how this is such a right to vote, where it's a special thing. So I appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, regarding the education part of it, it could be an hours-long presentation. I'll try to limit it as much as possible and allow time for questions. But yeah, there's a whole lot to educate people on with the voting process.
Yes, and I appreciated meeting with you and talking about how do we validate that they didn't vote in 2 different counties, that the signatures for verification actually come from your DMV records and some other records, that it's not just a one signature, that the statewide has a database so that we're not doing multiple different things, that your office updates it every day. Like, these things sticked in my mind when you spoke. And I'm hoping that when you do a presentation that it'll stick in other people's minds as well. Because I was at an event just the other day and someone was like, yeah, voting's been great as soon as we get rid of those dang machines. And so change is always there, but it's how we educate and really bring people together on this so that we can trust our systems as best as possible, whatever way you lean, but we have to move forward in this process. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. And in addition to giving presentations to help answer those questions, we're looking to beef up our FAQs on our website as well to be a resource for people with those common questions. Thank you.
Hi, Madam Clerk Recorder. Good afternoon. You really do have a great team. You have a fantastic staff down there. For years, have had a great reputation and continue that excellence. I just moved my district office, so we're co-located with your satellite office on Thousand Oaks Boulevard in the Civic Arts Plaza. We'd love to coordinate public outreach and engagement together since we're there. In any way you think would be meaningful. We'd love to work on that. And echoing my colleagues' statements, would love to help on any kind of education, outreach, engagement as it relates to election integrity, to show people the redundancies and the transparency and accountability that's built into the system that you're overseeing, and happy to play a role and a part in that. But thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
You brought up the mobile voting center, so I'm now really curious. I've got radar on that, because residents of Bill Canyon probably would be interested in something like that during the future election. Is that something that would be possible, or do they not have enough population to make it work?
Well, we're hoping to bring like a mobile pop-up center to these more remote communities. Bell Canyon is a perfect example. Piru, some of the upper parts of Ojai, so that we can increase the in-person participation. But in addition, everyone gets their vote-by-mail ballot in the mail to their home approximately 30 days prior to the election. So that's an option as well. But yeah, we would love to be able to get it before the next election cycle, if not coming soon.
That sounds great.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to echo my colleagues' praise of your staff. All of us have the privilege of going through the elections process every 4 years, and they're always such a joy to work with everybody you have downstairs running elections. And then I love coming through the elevator to the 4th floor, because I see Mr. Valenzuela out there and the clerk-recorder side of the operation. They're always so great with the public, and I wanted to compliment you. It's noticed. I think people in the public and myself using the elevator right there, they do a great job, and they really are customer service driven. You can just tell. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.